Well, I wanted to butt in here before I put these videos together. As many of you guys that follow the channel have probably noticed, there's been a gap in some of our stuff coming out. Has not been as much new content as I would have liked, but for anyone close to my family, you know that a few weeks back my grandmother passed away. And my grandmother, she was always very, very important to my whole family. One of the strongest women I ever knew, and probably will ever know. She played a huge role in our racing ever since I started. She was there, she was supporting me, she wanted to know every single detail of what happened on every single lap. And no matter the result, whether I finished a lap down, was the worst guy out there, she was making me feel like a champion. And it just reminds me of, you know, what it really meant to have somebody to believe in me like that. So we decided to step back from life for a bit and go and celebrate her life in the best way that we could as a family. And I just can't thank everyone enough for the support through that time, who reached out on social media. Although my grandma and I weren't around each other all the time, the moments we spent together with my father, traveling to racing as a family for holidays, it was truly something I will never forget. For as long as I can remember, even when we were going back to races, well before I ever even thought I was going to have the chance to race, my grandma knew how bad I wanted to get down there and be involved with these teams. And she always had a way of convincing me that that was still a possibility. As time went on and things just seemed less and less like it was possible, she, for some reason, was able to convince me otherwise. And that was motivation that I think really is so much of why we are where we are today. And now, because of her, I get to go spend a weekend, or got to go spend a weekend, chasing my literal dream in the NASCAR garage. And you know, we aren't behind the wheel yet, as I would like to say from Grandma's perspective, but we're doing what we love, and we're being in the racing community, we're in the racing world, with a smile on our faces, and that's, I think, all that she would have wanted. All I ask is that moving forward, we try to do what is best, and that is to continue living how she would want us to. If there's anything I ever learned from my grandmother, it was to just chase your dreams. No matter the result of what's going on, you can always make progress. She believed in me no matter what happened in life, and there's something to be said about that. So Grandma, I love you, I miss you more than I can describe, and I hope to keep making you proud. But I just ask you keep an eye on us from up there. We're gonna miss you, Grandma, but we'll try to keep moving forward. And anyways, let's get into the video, guys. Alrighty guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric Johnson Jr., and if you're new to the channel, thank you for tuning in. We try to do all things racing here, and this video we'll be getting ready to go for our, June 26th race, and then our July 3rd race. Back-to-back weekends. Got to get the car ready this week because I will actually be leaving for a fishing trip for the week in between with my grandpa, which I'm super excited about. But that puts extra pressure on us to get the car ready for both weekends, get everything laid out so that way when I get back on Friday night before next weekend's race, I can get the car ready as quick as possible to go for the next Saturday. So today, heading up to the track, I got to go buy some tires for the split for the both weekends, and then I got to get some new parts because we're putting a new radiator in. It's supposed to be upward of like 100 degrees for our first race. Not sure about our second race yet, but it is going to be warm. And our car got a little hot last race, so trying to prepare for that this race, we're going to drop a bigger core radiator in, try to get a little bit more time in the circulation, and hopefully keep the motor cooler. But realistically, just try to do our normal process here, keep the car together for both nights, keep it clean, and hopefully go get some good results. But I'm just excited to be back at the track with the family. It's been a while since we've been driving. Last race was back at Thunder Hill, and then for the Baby Grand was May 15th. So big gap here for the Baby Grands. But last time we had a gap, we came back and won. So who knows? We could have that kind of night, or we could have a poor night. We'll just hope for the best and go see what we can do. Besides that, I think we'll just hit the road, get our stuff, and then meet you guys back at the shop. Well, I just got home and we got the parts we needed, but this box right here is something I've been super excited about. It is actually our first Eric Jr. Racing pieces of merchandise, so I'm super excited to finally get these here. Make sure to go check out the website that I just put right there, www.ericjrracing.com, to get your very own shirt, and I'll try to put a picture of them right here. And if you'd like to support us and wear our merch, that would be awesome. If not, we get it, but I am super stoked to finally get our first order of it, but it is all on limited supply, so make sure to get it now before they're all gone, because once they are gone, they are gone. Alrighty, well, it is early on Wednesday morning before our race day. I got our stuff a couple days ago, got our pieces for our radiator, but today is the day we're trying to get everything put together on the car. So right now I got to run down to Portland and get some of those fittings welded onto the radiator with aluminum, especially with someone like me with poor welding experience. There's no way I'm gonna even bother trying anything like that. So get it done where it's watertight. I got to run down there, pick up a few pieces for the car. Gonna be doing an oil change and some other small maintenance things. It's been after getting the car hot a few times, I just definitely want to get new stuff cycled in already, especially coming up on like the halfway point of our season. So I'm gonna run down to Portland real quick. I'm not sure where else I'll be stopping. I'm sure I got to pick up a few things though, and then we'll be back at the shop trying to get everything done, because we go racing Saturday, and then I take off actually for a fishing trip. Not sure if I've already mentioned that, for all next week, and then we come back and race the following weekend, the day after I get back. So there's almost no time to get the car ready if something goes wrong, which is not the ideal situation, but that's why we got the backup car if something really goes wrong, and I can cut a day off the trip if I need to come back and really knock things out. Either way, we got it kind of planned out, but let's just hit the road and see what we can get done today. Well, after sitting in Portland traffic for a bit, we finally got here. So little Swan Island Sheet Metal Works here in Portland. Hopefully they can do the job for us, but we'll go see. Just like that, dropped it off. These guys are really cool here, and they seem to know what they're doing. They got a big shop going, so I think they had some commercial stuff come in this morning, so not able to get it done till the end of the day. So we're gonna take off, jet back to the shop, try to get as much done as we can, and then if we do get to the point where we're only waiting on that radiator, I'll go ahead and get the old one out, get everything set up, and pretty much just have an operating table ready to go when I get this thing and just drop it in. But until then, I got to run over to our local Yamaha dealer, go ahead, get our oil, rear end oil, gonna check brake pads today as well, and a few other things, but gonna go take off there now. Gotta get myself some food because still haven't eaten, and yeah, so to the shop we go. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't know what I did to the world, but everywhere I go today, my luck has not been great. I can't find pretty much any of our parts anywhere. Been doing a lot of searching around. Waste a good half tank of gas driving all over the place looking for stuff, calling people, and when I get there, stuff's not even there. So getting a little desperate looking around, but we'll get our stuff here eventually, even if we have to order it in and go ahead and wait till tomorrow to get stuff put in. But doing what we can here. Hopefully we can get the stuff we need. Alrighty, let's get this sucker up in the air and get working. oil filter on, oil drain. I'm gonna actually add some oil. So, got my clean funnel. No seal there. I actually went just a touch thicker oil than I've ran in the past, just because with the heat that we're running in, my thought process is, you know, even if it thins out, you're still right in the balls of the right ballpark, but that may just be a lack of knowledge and I'm doing something stupid, but we'll see. I do not know, and I don't have cell service here to call anyone. So, on the audible. It's not a big change. It's from 1030 to 1040. But it is a approved wet clutch synthetic motorcycle oil, so we should be just fine. All right, let's go ahead and add the rest of this. All right, still just barely peeking at the bottom, at the top of that hourglass. Just a little baby line around that top thing. So, all right, now that it's to the top of our hourglass, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on and just bump the motor. Try to cycle some of that through. All right, take a peek now. Probably just close it off here, let it run for a second, and then see how we look. All right, and after firing it, you can see it fell back down to about a quarter, so good, just gonna bring it up just above the 3/4 way and do it one more time. Boom, right about the 3/4 mark. I'll just add just a touch more, but besides that, it's good to go. Well, for the longest time, I've struggled to kind of understand the geometry of these cars, and I've tried to learn and learn and learn, especially through my friend Sean Jones. But still, there's definitely no way to ever say that I understand it completely. There's always something to learn with it. Well, with that said, these last few races, I've had the car where I was pretty much happy with it, but there were still points where I felt like I was struggling, and especially when I go off into the center of the corner, the car would almost just lay over and never really hook up on exit and just kind of fall to the right off. And I just couldn't really get that rotation once I hit apex. So finally, kind of after discussion, we think we figured out the bug that was kind of tweaked in our setup. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a small adjustment now. Hopefully we get that little bit more bite that we need once we hit apex, but we'll see. Kind of taking a swing with it. We have another thing that we can do as well, but really just a small adjustment here in the front end, and hopefully that will give us what we need. So my next task here, that I'm pretty happy because we're moving along pretty good pace here. But what I want to do now is, for anyone that's been watching for a while, you remember I went through and replaced a lot of the brake assembly over the off season, and so I'm gonna go ahead and pull off the brake pads, or the brake calipers, and get to those brake pads. And typically you'll see they glaze over pretty easily, and so I want to get kind of that glazed surface scraped off, get a fresh surface going, and make sure everything's fitting right, set right, and kind of just go through all my brake systems, make sure we got good stop and power. So I'm gonna do that all the way around the four corners, and then probably take off for a bit to go get some food, come back, and hopefully finish up the car tonight. So I just finished up the front brakes. I was actually pretty surprised by how glazed over those fronts were. But at the same time, it starts to make sense because when we go off in the corner and step on the brake, it seemed to have less bite, and I'd have to actually dial some rear into it to get it to kind of stop and rotate. And that could be a lot of what's going on with our setup that we changed over the off season. But if we're not getting good front brake as well, trying to get that car woed up and rotated could be a big part of our deal there too, because once they get glazed over, they're just not making much friction, and it is kind of what it is. So got those done, oil change done, whatever else. And now I'm gonna go get something, a little bit of food, get something in my belly, and then come back and hopefully get going on some stuff like getting the nose off, getting the radiator ready to go. But pretty much waiting on a welder to call me saying my part's done. So it could be pretty late and they may end up having to come back tomorrow, but we won't know until then. Anyways, I'm gonna go get some food and then hopefully we'll be right back. Flash forward to the next day. It is now Thursday, and I just went ahead and picked up our radiator. Super sick to have it done. Those welds look really good, really clean. Got both of our fittings on it. And we are heading back to the shop finally to get things figured out. Last night we just weren't able to get back to it. So hopefully now we can get over there and get a lot of this stuff done. I'll see if I can even pull the radiator without taking the body off. I can't lift it up by myself. It's hundreds of pounds and awkward. But if I get somebody to meet me there and help me get that off, we should be able to get this radiator fully installed before the end of the night. If not, tomorrow. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and bolt there and hopefully you'll see me there. Okay, well, we are back. That took a while, but trying to dive into things. I'm gonna try to pull off the nose now, get the radiator accessible, start my nut and bolt process, cleaning the chassis, blah, 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 blah. You guys already know the drill here, so let's get into it. So my dad just stopped by and we got the old radiator out, which is great. Old one we kind of fitted and decided how we're gonna go about putting it in. So tomorrow will be our last day doing that. I'm exhausted. I'm gonna finish up kind of cleaning the chassis up front where that radiator is gonna go in. That way, when it does go in, I probably wouldn't be able to access that anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it now. Clean up some stuff for as long as I can kind of bear. Just spend some quiet time with the car, chilling out, and we'll be out of here and back here in the morning for our final work day, finishing this thing up. So as it sits now, no radiator, no front bumper, getting things sorted out, trying to figure out how we're gonna do this. First time ever putting a new radiator in these. And for me, as dumb as it sounds, first time ever putting a radiator in any kind of car. So learning things as we go, but it's about one of the most simple things you can do, hooking up hoses and bolting it down. Besides that, I don't know what else there is to say besides let's get cleaning. Good morning, guys. We are back here at the shop Friday morning, and man, we just got news that after all of our hustling trying to get around, that the races were canceled this weekend because of the excessive heat. We were going to be racing in roughly like 106, 108 degree weather, which for us is not the hottest we've been in. We went down to California about a month ago and we're in 112 degree heat in endurance racing, but for this Baby Grand Series, that would definitely be our highest, and that's why obviously we're doing all of the preparation here to get the car ready for the heat. But there is still no time to relax. We have to have this thing ready by tomorrow because I am leaving Sunday and won't be back till the day before our next race. So we're gonna continue carrying out our plans as usual. Let me show you guys what I got going on though here with the radiator. So as a plan, because our radiator is a little bit different sized than our old one. So there's our new one sitting there, and our old one is over there. Two different kinds of radiators, and this one sits completely different. So instead of mounting it the same, what we're gonna actually try to do is with this flat bar aluminum, we're gonna almost try to cradle the radiator all the way around and have it bolted to that. And it actually has these holes that it has these posts underneath. There we go, much like that one or like this one. And it'll actually hopefully sit those posts down into our aluminum bracket we make. We'll put holes in it and it'll sit down in those so it can't move side to side. Up top, we'll put a bracket that bolts to one of these holes. This is just a flat bar piece, much like the one we're doing. That's why it's all bent, is it's just aluminum, but we'll get it secured up in the best way possible, and hopefully by the end of it, we have a well-secured radiator, and then I picked up a bunch of aluminum tape to really secure things off, so we got a sealed off radiator. So let's try to get into it, and I'll hopefully show you guys some more along the way. With this bar in here, I want to pretty much set it across like that, bend it in an L here, and attach it into the chassis, and then just put holes in the flat bar for the radiator to sit in. And then across the top, I can make brackets over as well. That way, my radiator is literally boxed in all the way around. And although it is aluminum and it's bendable, that gives me some flex when the car gets into any kind of impact, moving up and down. That radiator won't be fixed. And in that sense, hopefully, it will kind of give it a better chance for life and survival and then kind of an impact. All right, here's the magical moment. I got things drilled. Now we sit it in and see how far off I really am. Okay. That one's in. I swear if this works first try. This side is just a fraction of an inch off. That's it. Oh my gosh. We might actually do this. Woo-hoo! Okay, this side's in. Okay. It's in. Woo! And my hose fits. Oh, let's go. Woo! So I got my hoses hooked up, which is good. I don't have it fully mounted down yet, the radiator itself, but now it's time to figure out how I'm gonna fasten the top down. I just had to make sure I could get that piece to fit here. So now we'll figure this part out. All right, so this is gonna look like I have no clue what I'm doing. And that is because that is very true. But in order to drive a race car must be able to drive. And so, I'm gonna try to okay, well, I can't even reach the bottom of this with a C-clamp, so that's even worse. I gotta try to fix things, and sometimes that means fixing things without knowing how to fix them. And right now, that is something that we're trying to do. And I need this to bend right after this hole. So, yeah. Not at the hole, right after the hole. Yeah. Yeah. Almost building a step ladder here. And then, and that back down. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's go see how it fits. Okay, so, in theory, DOS goes over this. I'll mount this here. And if I can get this bend just a little bit earlier, I want to mount it here. And I actually can do that just as is. Hey, not bad. Okay, so this is actually going a lot better than I would have thought it would have. And I know it looks ugly right now, but everything's gonna be as sealed off as possible. But this is the best way I can find things to fit. So before I mount that into place, I have to make sure the rack doesn't hit it when I turn it. Ooh, not good. I need it all the way over there. Okay, so everything was going swell until I realized if you watch my rack right there is out of steering, right? That's maxed out to the right. But right about there, it touches my radiator fitting down there, the AN fitting, when it's in its movement. So what I'm gonna try to do is grind back a bit of that plate, that black plate, grind it back a bit. And if I really have to, grind just a touch off the knuckle, just try to get the bit most of clearance. We'll see how this goes. I don't know. We'll see. Not even enough to get light coming through.
It may be touching it, but it's not beating it.
Finally, after so much time, it's not complete, but it's sitting in its final spot. I got zip ties holding the top up, but just to show, it no longer moves the radiator when we're tapped. Well, I mean, it's barely nudging it there, but it's because it's not in its final spot. But we have just a hair of clearance down there on the rack now, which means we can lock this thing in and move on. Well, I got to the shop probably 10:30 this morning, 11, and it is now 6 p.m. and while being proud of it, it's also kind of embarrassing to say I just finished the radiator, but you know, it was my first time and we had to do a little bit of engineering, get creative, but let me show you how it looks. Everything is in. New radiator in, sealed off, lines on, fan on, and it clears moving. There's the rack all the way at its end, and it does not hit the radiator. We are good. Our last day here at the shop before, most likely, I should say, before our race day next week in July 3rd, because I take off tonight to go on a bit of a fishing trip off in Idaho. So today is my last day to get this thing put back together. I finished up the radiator yesterday, which you guys obviously saw not too long ago. And I also made another adjustment on the right front where I actually had to take that whole right front assembly off and adjust it. But after that, now it's just nut and bolt, cleaning the chassis, get the body back on it, and we'll be out of here. So hopefully, without not too much work, we can get this thing wrapped up. All right, we just checked the radiator. Everything is watertight, filled up, ready to go. Oh yeah. Kind of cool looking like this. Alrighty guys, so I am as you can see, pretty sweaty, but we just finished up the car, so everything is ready to go. I have it up on jack stands, pointing out towards the door of the garage so we can roll it out when we get here. But yeah, the only thing left to do after I made an adjustment is once we get to the track, a few kind of checking things, caster, camber, toe on my right front, make sure everything's locked in. But besides that, this thing is a finished project. Got that radiator in, scratched all our brake pads, oil change, that right front adjustment, nut and bolted the car, fixed a few minor issues we saw before, made some changes on the interior, which was nice for comfort. I mean, a good successful couple days here at the shop. So I'm gonna end this one here. This video is gonna be our kind of our shop video before the race, and then I'll try to put this together and get it out before I leave my trip. That way when I do leave and come back, I can drop that next video. So we'll see. It all depends on how much time I have before I leave here today, but I am super stoked. I can't thank everyone enough. I mean, I'm just so excited to be back at the track. You know, we're supposed to be there today, but with the heat, it just is what it is. But I mean, from everyone, from my sponsors, Valleyscapes and Key Property Services, to my parents, Eric and Carrie, and my brother who stopped by to help out, Sean, who was probably countless phone calls making sure I did everything right with me. I just can't thank everyone enough. So I'm gonna end this one here. I'm excited. I'm leaving excited, not only for my trip, but excited to come back and run this thing. We got a fresh set of stickers ready to go for that heat. And so we'll go out and make sure this one's good on the scuffs, and then after that, we'll hit the track. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. Feel free to comment down below if you'd like to see anything different. Like to see me explain anything on these cars. I know they're a little different than what most people see in a race car, so feel free to reach out and I will definitely get back to you as soon as I can. Feel free to check out our social media. Instagram is ericjr.racing, or if you're watching this somewhere else besides my YouTube, check out my YouTube channel where most of this content goes, at Eric Jr. Racing. And besides that, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Make sure also to check out our website, ericjrracing.com. Some merch dropped. Feel free to go get this car on your shirt, wear it on your body, rep it, and a little shameless plug, but I am excited to finally have merch. Can't wait to see it at the track, and it came out amazing. So shout out to Nitro Designs. But yeah, I'm gonna leave this one here, guys. This is it, and until we see you next time, take it easy.